All good? Okay. Morning. My name's Andy Kahn, Director of Victim Services, Crime Stoppers of Houston, and we're here today to ask for the public's help in providing information leading up to the arrest of the suspect and or suspects responsible for this cold-blooded murder of 18-year-old Jarvon Coles on March the 9th, 2024. It's now been over 6 months. There's an unknown suspect or suspects that fired into a house party, and tragically, Jarvon died as a result of multiple gunshot wounds. And let's be real, a party like that on a drive-by, there are people out there that know who did this. And we know that there are people out there that are wanting to come forward. And that's why Crime Stoppers is offering an up to a $5,000 reward. I'm giving you 5,000 reasons to reach out to us at 713-222-TIPS. And go online, www.crime-stoppers.org. We have a mobile app, over 20 languages. You can contact that. We need your help. We want your help. The best thing about Crime Stoppers is we are anonymous. We don't know who you are. We don't want to know who you are. And that's why we're sending a plea out to the public. Joining us here today, as you can see, representatives from the Harris County Sheriff's Department, family members of Jarvon, and I'm going to ask Major Suarez to come on up here and kind of give kind of an update as far as where everything stands now.
Thank you, Andy. Good morning, and thank you for joining us here this morning. I'm Harris County Sheriff's Major Saul Suarez, and I oversee our Criminal Investigations Bureau. Joining me this morning is our members of our Homicide Unit, led by Captain James Wagner and Lieutenant Michael Santos. Also joined by Andy and representatives from Crime Stoppers of Houston, and also the family members of Jarvon Coles. So I want to express my deepest condolences to the family of Jarvon Coles. We are here today standing with them, seeking justice for their loved one. We also want to thank Crime Stoppers for their support in bringing justice to Jarvon. Jarvon was a high school senior and an inspirational student and a football star at Northshore High School in Galena Park ISD. Our homicide detectives have gathered information, and they have also gathered evidence, but we still need the public's assistance and help in bringing more information to hold those responsible for this crime. On Saturday, March 9th, 2024, at approximately 10 p.m., 18-year-old Jarvon Coles was at a house party in Humble. He was enjoying himself with friends when gunshots were fired from about a block away towards the house where the party occurred. Jarvon was hit several times and killed. The Harris County Sheriff's Office homicide detectives responded to the scene along the 4900 block of Fieldwick Lane. Detectives believe the shots were randomly fired towards the party. They have devoted days and countless hours towards gathering information from multiple sources and witnesses to identify possible suspects. Detectives have also compiled valuable evidence. However, we still need more information from the public in order to seek prosecution for the person or persons responsible for this crime. We're asking the community's assistance in finding justice for Jarvon. We urge anyone with information, no matter how small, please come forward. You can contact the Harris County Sheriff's Office at 713-274-9100. Again, that's 713-274-9100. Or you can contact Crime Stoppers anonymously at 713-222-TIPS, which is 8477. Any information may be key to bringing closure to this case. Crime Stoppers is also offering up to a $5,000 reward for information leading up to the arrest of the suspect or suspects in this case. Once again, we ask you, anyone, to come forward with information to contact us immediately. To Jarvon's family, we promise to continue working relentlessly to ensure that we bring justice for Jarvon. Thank you. I'll go ahead and give a quick remarks in Spanish, and then I'll turn it over to our Homicide Squad 2 Sergeant Sidney Miller and our lead investigator, Margarita Nolan. Buenos días y gracias por acompañarnos. Soy Mayor Saúl Suárez con la Oficina del Alguacil del Condado de Harris. Antes de nada, quiero ofrecer nuestras condolencias a la familia de Jarvon Coles. Ellos están aquí presentes hoy tratando de hacer justicia para su hijo. También agradecemos a Crime Stoppers de Houston por el apoyo que hace para justicia a Jarvon Coles. Jarvon estaba en su último año de preparatoria, era un estudiante inspirador y también una estrella de fútbol americano, y era en la escuela Northshore en el distrito escolar de Galena Park. Nuestros detectives de homicidio han estado trabajando constantemente para reunir toda la información y las pruebas necesarias, y como quiera ocupamos la ayuda de la comunidad para agarrar más claves. El sábado 9 de marzo a las 10 de la noche, Jarvon Coles, de 18 años de edad, se encontraba en una fiesta con sus amigos y como una cuadra de distancia empezaron a dispararle a la casa de la fiesta. Jarvon recibió impactos de bala que causaron su muerte. Nuestro equipo de homicidio respondió a la escena, que era la 4900 Fieldwick Lane, en el noreste del condado de Harris. Los detectives creen que los disparos se efectuaron casualmente contra la casa. Nuestros detectives de homicidio han dedicado días y muchas horas obteniendo información de fuentes y testigos para identificar los posibles sospechosos. Los detectives también han obtenido pruebas valiosas. Sin embargo, los detectives necesitan más información para llevar a juicio a las personas o las personas responsables por este crimen. Solicitamos la ayuda de la comunidad para encontrar justicia para Jarvon. Le pedimos a cualquier persona que tenga información, por favor, por cualquier pequeña que sea, que nos llamen. Nuestro número del homicidio es 713-274-9100, y también pueden ser anónimos y llamarles a Crime Stoppers de Houston al 713-222-8477. Cualquier información puede ser la clave que necesitamos. Una vez más, pedimos a cualquier persona que tenga información que se ponga en contacto con nosotros inmediatamente. Muchas gracias. I will now turn it over to Sergeant Sidney Miller. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Sidney Miller. I'm a sergeant supervisor over a team of homicide detectives that are actively working this case. As the major said, we've been working this case since March 9th, diligently, following up on every lead. All the information that's coming in, we've been following up on it. Our team has been led by Detective Margarita Nolan as lead investigator. She's been in constant contact with Jarvon's family, the grandparents, and I'm gonna tell you from what I know, Jarvon was an exceptional kid. Gifted kid, very, he was a good son, obviously, and a grandson. So, many of us have kids, and we understand how you send your kids off to these parties and, for them to have a good time, and you expect for them to come back home. And unfortunately, Jarvon didn't come back home that night. So we are asking the public, with any information that you may have regarding this case, to call us. We have a lot of evidence that we've collected through our investigation. I don't want to disclose specifically what we have because, as you know, the perpetrators are still out there and they hadn't been caught, so we don't want to tip them off. But we are asking people that were at that party that we have not talked to, or anyone with information regarding the case, to contact the Harris County Sheriff's Office Homicide Unit at 713-274-9100 or Crime Stoppers at 713-222-TIPS. What I will tell you in terms of motive, based on our investigation, as you know, these shots occurred about a block away during the cover of night, and they were indiscriminately fired at the house, which indicates to us that, you know, this Jarvon was just an innocent bystander. And everything right now appears to be that this was just a person or persons that was trying to disrupt this house party. So at this point, like I said, we're just seeking the public's help and trying to get this case solved and get closure for Jarvon's family. So again, we're asking if you have any information to contact the Harris County Sheriff's Office Homicide Unit or Crime Stoppers with any information you may have. Thank you.
Behind me are Jarvon's grandparents and mother, and I'm going to ask Jarvon's grandfather, Braxton, to come on up on behalf of the family.
Thank you. First off, I just want to thank the Harris County Sheriff's Office and Crime Stoppers for putting this on. You know, you guys have been, you know, doing a great job, and we really, really appreciate it. Like it's been stated so many times by myself and others, someone knows who did this. So we're asking anybody that knows anything to come forward and let us know what you know. Too many people were there to not have seen something. So someone knows, and we're going to continue to pray and request that, you know, information comes forth that will help catch the murderers who killed my grandson. You know, it's been a lot of conversation and a lot of things, you know, back and forth about, you know, the tragedy. But I just want to touch on some of the good that's come out of it. You know, we created a foundation in his name called Crash Out for Cause. And our mission is to, through education and through talking and flyers and attending events, we don't want any other family to go through what we're going through. We are sponsoring kids for youth sports. We are going to give some scholarships. And, you know, we had a lot of attention on his murder. I just want to keep some of the same attention on the good that we're doing after that. So, you know, we have a GoFundMe set up to try to bump the reward up. I have that information. I didn't bring it with me. But we're looking forward to the good we can do. You know, through every, you know, they say through every tragedy, some good must come. You know, I never thought that the tragedy would be ours. And, but this is the position we're in. I can't dwell on what happened because nothing we can do or nothing anyone can do can bring him back. The only thing that we can do is we can try to do as much good as we can moving forward in his name. Thank you.
Once again, we're asking for the public's help. You're our eyes and ears out there. And as you've heard, we know someone out there knows who fired the shots that ultimately took Jarvon's life. And it's time for you to step up to the plate and do the right thing. As someone who serves on the board of Parents of Murdered Children and surviving family members of homicide, I can unequivocally tell you that grief is intensified when justice is lacking. And sadly, right now, justice is lacking for Jarvon and his family. And make no mistake about it, the detectives, sheriff's office, the community, we're going to find you. It's just a matter of time. And when we find you, we're going to do everything we can to ensure you don't breathe free air again. You took a life, and you're going to end up paying for that. It's just a matter of when. So again, reach out to Crime Stoppers, up to a $5,000 reward. And remember, all tipsters are anonymous. And I want to thank the media on behalf of everyone out here for getting this back out there. It's been 6 long months, and it's time for answers. At this time, we'll take any questions from anybody up here as well.
Early on, you all were searching for surveillance video still. Have you all had any luck with that yet, or are you able to say?
Yes, again, we have collected a lot of digital evidence, surveillance video. I think a lot of that video was published through the media early on, but there's some other stuff that we've gotten as well that we're not comfortable in sharing at this point, because again, we don't want to tip off our investigation to the person that's responsible for taking this young man's life. So strategically, it's not a wise thing to do for us to tell us what we have in terms of evidence. So again, the whole point of this is just for people that have not come forward at this point to contact us and give us some additional information to help us kind of get over that hump and finding out who did this to this young man. So.
I think you mentioned, do you think there were people at this party that haven't come forward and identified?
I believe so. I believe so. We talked to quite a few people at that party. It was a lot of people at that party, at least 60-plus people. And there were people prior to the shooting going back and forth, and I'm sure there's some people we missed. So yes, there were some people we never got a chance to speak to that hadn't come forward. So.
Is that a typical challenge for this kind of?
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's always a challenge when people don't want to come forward and you're trying to find out who those people are. So it's been challenging, but again, the team, I mean, they've been on it since day one. Detective Nolan's, like I said, she's been on it since day one and nonstop. So we're going to continue to do our job to make sure that, like Andy Kahn said, the person who's responsible for this is held accountable.
And I know you said there's some information you don't want to release right now. Do you have any description of vehicles or things people might have seen that night that might jog a memory?
We don't have anything like that at this point. Like I said, it was nighttime, it was darkness, and that was another challenging factor. When the shooting went down, there was a lot of people there. A lot of people left around the same time, so it was, that was very challenging for us to try to figure out who's who, But we got, like I said, we are on it. We're going to be on it until we find out who did this. And Ms. Coles, I promise you that we're going to do our best in seeking justice for Javon. Okay.
Someone already mentioned just, this code of silence, and I can imagine that runs even deeper when you're dealing with young people. What would you say to just continue to encourage them, or maybe encourage parents to talk to kids who are at that party to, encourage them to come forward and say what they know?
Well, that's the thing. I'm an old school guy, and I'm not into social media like a lot of these young kids, but I know they do share a lot of their information on social media. So even if they want to go to social media, Grizzly News or whatever social media sites that are out there and put that information out there, I mean, we'll look into that as well. But I'll just ask the parents, like I said earlier, the Coles, they never thought that they would send their son to a house party and he wouldn't show back up. I mean, we all, have been there. So, as another parent, responsible parent, I would encourage them to talk to their children if they were there and, try to ask and see if they have any information regarding our case and bring that forward to us.
And I have another question for Mr. Coles. You hear so much about just the type of person Jarvon was. Talk about why it's so important that you build on that legacy through the foundation and through youth sports to keep his memory alive, I guess.
Oh, where to start? I mean, from a kid who at 6 years old said that he wanted to play football, and then he watched a football game and saw a hit, and then he told me he didn't want to play anymore. From that kid there to going to play for the number 5 ranked high school football team in the country, to be a 2-time first district linebacker, to play in the championship game 3 years in a row, which all of that doesn't mean anything compared to his 4.2 whatever grade point average, So I saw how we all saw how he kind of just blossomed through football, through youth sports. So that's one way that we felt that, we could keep, his legacy alive and keep the dream. Because I'll never forget, at practice, while he was practicing, and there was a couple of kids kind of standing on the side watching. And I asked them, what's wrong? You don't like football? And they kind of put their head down. And the coach came and said, yeah, they want to play, but their parents can't afford the registration. So one of the missions of our foundation is, so far this year, we've sponsored 4 kids to play youth football on 4 different Eastside teams. We have 2 scholarships in the making for student athletes, one at Channelview, one at Northshore. We just talk to anyone who listened. We attend all of the home games. We have our information booth set up to, talk about senseless gun violence. It's got to stop.
Thank you guys again for helping us get the story out. We really appreciate you. And thank all of you guys for doing what you do, and thank you for trying to take a negative and turning it into positive action for social change. And I'm sure his legacy will now last for eternity. Thank you.